Hey parents, Master Show here with Peak Performance Summer Camp. I can't tell you how excited we are about next week and getting camp into full-blown operations. And so I'm going to go over a few things with you, what to expect, arrival and departure, what to bring, all that stuff, and then talk about the weekly emails that we send out that go over all of our routines, all of our schedules, everything that we're doing. So I'm going to switch screens and go to our parent handbook. Everybody should have a copy of this. If not, let us know. We'll get you a copy. And just please make sure and read the manual. I'm not going to go word by word. I'm going to kind of paraphrase on some of these things just so you know what to expect. So let me switch screens. And this is our parent handbook. And you'll see where it's our crazy cool 2020 summer camp. And I'm going to share this screen with you. And that should be, there we go. Sorry about that. You think as many times we've done this as the last 2.5 months, we'd have this down. All right, so this is the parent handbook, and you'll see what talks about our crazy cool summer, general information, contact information, things of that nature, our phone number, everything is on here. Hours of operation, so full-time camp runs from 7 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday, 7 to 6. And our part-time camp runs from 9 to 3. Now, we're told to put this in here, but I really need y'all to understand that I really don't care what the color of your skin is, what your sexual orientation is. I just do not care. Not that I'm not concerned about it. I am. But we're not going to discriminate regardless of who they are, where they're from, color of their skin, sexual orientation. It doesn't matter to us. We treat everybody the same. For your tax records, there's our tax ID number. And then please make sure that all the forms and paperwork that we have, especially the transportation and medical releases, are on file. That's super, super important. We carry those with us everywhere we go. We don't anticipate having any issues, but I want to make sure that if anything happens, we can move and navigate as we need to. We are not a daycare center, and I need everybody to understand that. We are exempt underneath the Department of Family Protective Services Child Care Unit. We have an exemption from them because we're a sports camp, and so that's how that happens. Registration fees are going to cover their camp shirts. The full-time also get a uniform or a shirt for their sports or skills programs, and that's what those covers. Those are non-refundable, or neither are the $15 weekly deposits that we use for paying for locking in our field trips, but the $15 will come off of the summer camp tuition for each week of camp. We ask that you're on time. If for some reason you're going to be late, just please call us. We understand if there's a car accident or things of that nature going on, and we'll be happy to work with you. If you feel like it becomes a chronic thing, that you're not being responsible, then the pickup it's a $30 late fee for the first 15 minutes and $1 a minute after that. And so please make sure and keep up with that. If there's been any return or late payments via credit card or check, there's a $25 fee for that, just because they charge us fees as well. On their clothings and personal belongings, please make sure and label everything for me. So that way, I'd love to say that kids do a really great job of picking up after themselves, but they don't always do that. Even though we work really, really hard to make sure that they are policing all of their stuff that they carry with them for camp, please make sure that they do that. There are specific days that we need specific clothing items. Mondays and Thursdays are swim days. Excuse me. So please make sure that they wear their swim stuff here, bring a change of clothes as well. In the past camps, we've said just to wear flip-flops on Mondays and Thursdays. This year, I want them wearing shoes and socks every day and bringing flip-flops or sliders or water shoes with them every day. So no matter what we're doing, no matter where we're going, we've got the ability to take care of that. Please do not send any cell phones with them. The Teen Extreme group can bring it with them, but we're not allowing them just to sit on the phone all day long. We want them active. We want them busy. If you need something, please call the studio. Now, on field trip days on Fridays, they can bring it to take pictures They can play some games on the bus when they're there, but they can't text their friends or phone calls or things of that nature. And if we do catch them, we will take it away just so we can manage. When they're here in the building and they're on Wi-Fi, like for our computers, I can control everywhere they go. On the phones, I don't have an LTE signal blocker. They cost way too much money. So that's just one reason why how we kind of manage the content on where they're at and what's going. Some parents allow their kids to be some places, others do not. I don't want to fight that battle, so we just don't allow cell phones at all. And even as we talk about here again about personal cell phones are not allowed for phone calls, textings, or internet usage. If caught, they will be confiscated and returned to the parent at the end of the day. They will only be allowed on Friday field trips or game activity during travel and taking pictures at designated times on Fridays. On the arrival and departures, every Friday we're going to send out a schedule, what we're doing on each day, what's the latest I need them here by, what they're going to be wearing. So please make sure that to follow that guideline, please, and read this information. If they're in the part-time camp, I ask they're here by 8:45, 9 o'clock. Absolutely, it's an earlier day that we have to leave earlier. Illnesses, and this has always been the case for us, just like school. If they're running a temp, then they can't be here. And the guidelines set by CDC is actually different than what the city guidelines have been for this year. So if it's anything 100 degrees or higher, they cannot be here. We will do temperature checks at the front door, and if they don't pass that, then unfortunately they will not be able to come to camp that day. On transportation, we have buses. The buses all have air conditioning, they have seat belts, and please talk to your child about the fact that they have to wear those seat belts. It's not optional. We will disinfect the buses after each trip just to make sure that we are mitigating any kind of safety issues. And we're also going to make sure that they're riding in the same seat through each leg of their daily field trips to make sure that we know where they're at, what's going on, and to make sure that, you know, we do have a child that's asymptomatic, we don't know, we can reduce the chances for cross-contamination. But again, as long as you're making sure they're clean when they're coming here, we're doing all of our steps and due diligence here, the likelihood of that happens is going to be really, 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 really rare. For medication, if they do take a maintenance medication, it needs to be in the prescription bottle from the pharmacist. Now, a lot of times if you have, you'll ask the pharmacist, they'll put them in separate bottles for you so that you can give one to our nurse that we have on staff. Mrs. Jones is a registered nurse, and all medication goes through her and how it's distributed. We do work on emergency drills on what to do. We do talk with the kids about if anything's going wrong, what are our safety protocols and what are our emergency protocols. Here is a list of the camp weeks, what we're doing, where we're going. This may change a little bit based upon a couple of things. One, what their capacity is and can they handle it. The majority of our field trip vendors have been able to handle our capacity. We'll just run things in shifts. But if they're not providing the same level of cleanliness that we're expecting, then we'll change the field trip. And we're not trying to do that to make anybody upset. I just want to make sure that we're protecting our kids. And I'm kind of like a Papa Bear when that stuff goes on with our kids and stuff. So please just be aware of that. You'll notice on here that there are some swim activities. Every Monday, every Thursday, we swim. On Fridays, we have several field trips where water's involved. There are bands that we use that are very important to us. There are 3 colors. There's red, yellow, and green. When the pools we swim in, if they have a deep end, the children are not allowed in that deep end unless they pass our swim test. The swim test is a 25-meter free stroke style stroke, and then they have to pass that. It's got to be a side breathe. No doggy paddle, no paddling on their back, no floating. They have to be able to swim, and it's got to be strong. We're looking at technique, and we're looking at stamina. I want to make sure that they can handle themselves in the deep end. We're there by the pool with the lifeguards. We have staff that's surrounding the pool. We have staff that's in the pool, just like a lifeguard would be, because I want to make sure that we're keeping our kids safe in the water all the time. So please make sure and talk to your children that if their swim stroke is decent, you allow them to go in the deep end with you. that may be one thing. But if it's not super strong and they're not in really good shape, I probably will not let them go in the deep end, just because I want to make sure and return a safe and healthy child to you the way you gave them to us at the beginning of the day. On food, please make sure that you're packing things that they like to eat, please. Please don't underpack. Please don't overpack. I need them eating. We're busy. We're active. They need to fuel their bodies. Please do not send soda, Gatorade, Powerade. Please send water. Water is the best thing for them. Please have them get a 1-gallon water bottle they can get from Walmart. Has the little hooks on it. They can hook it right on their locker. And then this year's a little different. Please, we've always asked to please make sure it comes here full. Until further notice, probably until the 8th or the 15th of June, our water fountains, our internal water fountains are shut off until we get the all clear to make sure that we're doing the right things. We do have a filtered water system that we have for our ice machine, and it also does water. And then we'll make sure and take care of it there as well. So please make sure that they're eating good food. Please read this section so that you know what to pack for them, and please pack stuff that they will eat. Please don't pack a lot of junk food. Please no chocolate. If that's a granola bar with chocolate chips in it, not a big deal. If it's 1 or 2 chocolate chip cookies, not a big deal. Please don't pack like chocolate bars like some families try to do, or like Kit Kat bars or Twix bars. If it comes in the Lunchable, again, not a big deal. They're going to burn it off anyways. But I want to make sure that we are feeding them healthy so I can keep them healthy as well. Injuries are not very common, but they do happen every once in a great while. If it's something we can handle internally, we're just going to take care of it, put ice on it. We'll fill out an accident report, call you if necessary, and move from there. But if it's something big, we'll call you. And, again, we're trying to do everything we can to mitigate any circumstances happening that they'll get hurt. But I do want them being active and not afraid to try stuff that's, within safety parameters as well. Required equipment, they have to have a water bottle every day, shoes and socks every day, bring a flip-flop every day. On swim days, make sure they have their swim clothes, a towel, change of clothes, because I have them change out of their wet clothes when they get here. On swim days, please take everything wet home. If they have a uniform or a physical skills shirt, please make sure those are brought on Mondays and put in their locker. Each child will have a locker, and that stuff will go from there. So please make sure that is in there. We talked about, and please make sure and bring a bottle of sunscreen. The best one is the NOAD from Walmart, 45. It's a good sunscreen. It's SPF 45. Anything beyond SPF 45 doesn't work. So please don't pack an 80 or 90 or a 600 SPF. Anything above a 45, 50 is just, it's not getting them any better protection. We apply the sunscreen. So don't even bother applying sunscreen in the morning. By the time we're getting where we're going, what you've applied will have worn off, and we apply it right before we're going out into the sun and into the water to make sure we're getting maximum protection. If your child is a very fair-skinned, like my family has a lot of Irish and redheaded people in it, so I'm very cognizant of that ability. So we'll pull them out in the middle of swimming after 20, 30 minutes, and we'll reapply sunscreen again, just to make sure that we are protecting your child. I don't want to return a lobster child to you at the end of the day. On the swimming requirements, please just read that again, and just kind of what we talked about before. And please make sure the sunscreen, unless it's very specialized sunscreen, just plan on bringing it and leaving it here so it's always here for them. We do community on the most of stuff unless it's a specialized sunscreen. That way it just makes it easier for us to move. And like I said earlier, we apply the sunscreen. Swimming requirements, please read that. The activity schedule will be posted every Friday. We'll send an email out, which you'll receive an email a little bit farther after this. So please make sure and do that as well. This year is a little different. Until probably the 8th or the 15th of June, we're not going to be allowing parents in the door. They'll do their health checks at the front door. But on the etiquette and life skills training that we're working with them on, you'll see the students that are in the martial arts side, they'll be bowing at the front door. They'll be bowing when they leave. I don't allow children to call adults by their first name. They can call Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so. They can call coach. whatever is fine. You'll notice that we'll also reference you strictly by your last name, Mr. or Mrs. By your last name, just as a sign of courtesy and respect as part of the life skills that we teach as part of the program. If they are in our full-time program, they'll also get to do either our martial arts, jiu-jitsu, strength and conditioning, or our soccer training. And they'll get 2 formal classes a week. In the full-time camps, they're included with the tuition. So we'll try to balance load classes the best we can to make sure that we don't have one class that's really huge, one class really small. And like I said, they'll get those 2 formal classes a week. In the afternoons, now again, I'm talking about we're not a daycare center. You can read that as well. And here is some of the registration fees and breakdowns. And you guys can read that. I'm not going to go through all that stuff. You guys pretty much know that stuff already. Arrival and departure, it'll talk about that for camp rules, behavior, and expectations. So we don't have a lot of behavior problems. And the biggest reason why is on Mondays, I sit down with the children and we go over the entire week. We go over what we're doing, where we're going, what the expectations are. We hold pretty high expectations, and 99% of the kids, they meet those expectations. We do have the 1 or 2 that will try to push the envelope. And most times it's having a conversation, we'll solve that. You know, they're either dealing with an anxiety, or they're dealing with an uncertainty, or they're dealing with, you know, just something that's unknown to them and they're just a little anxious. And most times we can solve that pretty well. For the few times that we've got somebody who just keeps pushing and pushing and pushing, then we'll figure another way, whether it's exercise, loss of activity, something that will get their idea, get their attention. Most times that's about all it is. And so just please be mindful of that as well. If for any reason your child is removed from camp for safety or behavior violations and they are not invited back, there are no refunds on either tuitions or registrations paid for current or future camps. So just please be aware of that. There's no profanity or inappropriate conversations for content on mobile devices allowed during camp. Students will not be allowed to call, text, tweet, Snapchat, or post on any social media communications without the express permission of the camp counselor and the parents. And that's for primarily our teen camp. The insanity and the adventure camp will not have that option at all. Campers will not be allowed to watch videos on their devices without permission. Violations of policy will be dealt with on an individual basis and discussed with parents at the end of the day. And for mobile device violations, the device will be confiscated and returned to the parents at the end of the day and will not be allowed back beyond that point. On Fridays, when they're coming, if they have a device they're taking on a field trip, it has to stay in their locker. They can't have it in the academic room or things of that nature. In the afternoons, we'll have STEM projects every week going on. We'll have creative and strategy stations and building stations that are going on. There'll be a lot of things for them to do. If they do earn some computer time, it'll be academic related. We actually have 2 board certified school teachers on staff during the summertime, and we do a little bit of academics with them every day. It's not a lot, but it is enough to keep them where they're at. So if you have Kumon, Sylvan, any kind of work that needs to be done, please let us know so we can let the school teachers know what needs to be taken care of after 3 o'clock. This is a transportation release. There's 2 of them, and I need you to make sure you sign all of these blanks to say that you've read the parent handbook. And there's a transportation and a medical release. This one goes on the bus with us everywhere that we go. I need everybody's contact information. I need it up to date. If there are any medical issues, if there's any behavioral issues, if there's any diagnoses, please let us know. We will not share that with anybody. It just helps us understand how we need to take each individual situation. And I want to make sure that we're not sending, discipline if we have to, a certain child, and then we've got issues that we're dealing with. So we need to know that information, please. So share it with me, share it with Mrs. Jones. We'll let the staff know, but again, it's done with the utmost professional level of setup. I want to share another screen with you guys just for a second. Let me get over here because I want to talk about what we do to clean our building. And So one, you may know this, you may not. Hang on. Here we go. I want to get over here, share this screen with you. On here, all right, come on, give it to me, please. There's two things. One, there's an FDA approved disinfectant list that we have sent out multiple times. And let me stop sharing for a second, then I'll get back to, let's try it again. And maybe let me just open it up. Give me a couple of seconds. I'll be right back. All right, so let me go ahead and share it now. And I want to share this screen so you guys can see this. This is a list that was put out by the FDA. And so you can go right on the FDA's website and talk about all of the cleaning products that are approved for all of the different viruses that are out, including the current COVID-19 virus. So it's real important that you guys kind of get yourself up to speed on that, even for like uses at home, so you can make sure that what you are doing. Luckily enough for us, all but one of the cleaners that we've used forever are on this list. The only thing we had to change was that the hydrogen peroxide that we use, because we cycle our cleaning products each day to make sure that nothing ever gets a chance to kind of take hold. We have, I've been doing martial arts for 47 years. And so for me, the things that we dealt with when I was younger were the AIDS virus and HIV virus, and understanding how it was impacting the school, because in the 80s, we just didn't know where it was coming from, you know, how severe it was. And so we've always used medical grade disinfectants. So the only thing that we've changed is the over-the-counter hydrogen peroxide is a 3%. And then when we found that it was not on this EPA list, then what we did is we actually we went to a 12% grade, which they asked for 5%, and we decided to go up to a 12% just to make sure that we are killing everything. So let me go back to one more sheet, and this is the list of disinfectants that we use in the academy. What we use, it's going to be, there we go. This is what we use in the academy. The hydrogen peroxide, we talked about that. Kin Clean we use on the mats and the bags. Clorox and Lysol we use in the bathroom. Same thing with the Clorox here. Same thing with the Clorox over here. And the Air Spray and Go, we use that on some other surfaces. And then we also use it on our bus seats because it's a great air contact cleaner, and we can actually spray it right on the seats, wipe them down, and it'll kill anything that it comes in contact with. So if there's any questions about that, and the shoes that we have them wear to go to the bathroom, we actually disinfect those with Lysol and with the Air X. So this is just kind of an overview. Please make sure and read the parent handbook and go over all that stuff. Look for the email that will have the weekly schedule for next week. And then every week that you're here, you'll get that schedule on Fridays. We look forward to seeing you guys next week. If there's any paperwork that's being sent to you by my wife, everything we're doing right now is DocuSign on the summer camp agreements. So just please be on the lookout for those. Again, the staff and I are really looking forward to seeing you guys. And I can't wait for an amazing summer. We're going to have one. We're not going to, be all fearful and stuff. No, we're going to be respectful of things, but we're going to have a great time and really kind of help these kids kind of get out of this kind of doldrum that I've seen them kind of get into. So we look forward to seeing you guys. If you have any questions, give us a call here at the office, 512-918-8921, or you can email me. This is Master Shill. Look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thank you so much.